Alright, boys and girls from around the world, today we are going to be making anime girls with a AI image generator. Beautiful. Disclaimer though, real quick, this video will be piggybacking off of my previous video, how to even install Stable Diffusion WebUI. If you haven't seen that, go see that. Link will be in the description to that video. But further ado, let's get right to the video. So this will be fairly simple, what we're going after, because pretty much the bulk of the work was even to get the AI generator to even run. But now it's just about installing modules. So that's what we're going to do. By modules, I mean models, my bad. We have quite the list here. By the way, link at the website in the description below. This whole thing, actually, this little guide right here, but we're focusing on these. So we already done this is from the previous video, so it's now to doing these, the more anime styled ones. So what we're gonna do is just simply download them. So open the link, download. They're gonna be, they're gonna have quite the file size, so I hope you have file size to spare here. But as that downloads, let's download the other ones. Yep, this one is gonna be quite heavy as well. So, like I said, it's gonna take a little bit. Be patient, and I'll come back to you guys when the all downloading all settles down. So, all right. So here we go. We have our models. And the next thing to do is just to do as the little written guide here says to do, which is to go open up our models, and then is to go to our Stable Diffusion, and then pretty much we just import that stuff in there. It says, to rename it to model that checkpoint, but we can, if we wanted to, it just says here, as in you can have as many models as you want in the folder. Model checkpoint is just the one that gets loaded by default. We're just going to copy them with the names they already have there. So we're just going to give this some time to, it's going to take a little bit to transfer the files over there because they are quite large file sizes. So, like I said, I'll just get back to you when this is done copying the files over. So now that these have been copied over, we can just get things running, but we're going to do the optional step here to reduce the VRAM is to open up our WebUI user.bat and then just copy and paste what this person recommends, which is to use the medium VRAM, medium VRAM. It's in the name. And then we can launch things now. But here's the thing, if you're on Linux, we're not using bat. We're using this instead, the shell script, which, like I said in the previous video, all this is done, so we can just launch the shell script from what's already got going for us. Because like I said, I already put down the shell script, but essentially, if you want to, which this is part of the launch parameters, so it's already in there from the previous video, the medium RAM command. So we'll get this launching, so we'll just give it a second to rev up for us. Might take a little bit, as step 7 says here, which is to launch the bat file, but like I said, we're on Linux, we're using the shell script, we're launching it from the shell script, pretty much same parameters. It's just it's gonna take a little bit, so like I said, I'll get to you guys. I'll cut back to it when it's done doing its thing. So it's almost finishing up, and there we go. So now it's giving us our nice little local IP address to connect to. So we're gonna paste that in there, and then here we have. Just give it a second while everything loads. I'll full screen for us. And then now we have other models to play with. And that's pretty much it. That's all you got to do. But I'll go into a little bit later of extra things you can do with this. But that's pretty much how you install it. So let's get to things you can do with this and etc. Alright, so for the next step, it's going to involve a little torrenting. Now, I'm going to leave you guys to be big boys and big girls, and I'm just going to let you guys do that on your own. Most latest distros come already distributed with a torrent software. So, like I said, the link of this website's in the description below. You guys can do this yourself. I'm sure you guys can read here and select the things needed, such as, well, this and that and what's not, you know. So I'm gonna let you guys do that, and we're gonna move on to the next step here with to make things look like novel AI. All right. So we're going to get to renaming something. So animeve.pt is going to be nay.v.pt. All right, cool. And then the config.yaml will be nay.yaml, and then model.checkpoint will be nay.checkpoint. Okay. So now the step 3 is to place all 3 of these files here. So we'll just ignore this module stuff because this is all extra. So we'll just copy these essentials here, and then just put them in our models, and then Stable Diffusion, and then just paste that in there. Well, a little bit of exception of what I'm doing here. I accidentally pasted in the folder. You're supposed to take these things out. So once this finishes copying, then we'll yeah, just give me a second here. Alright, finish copying. Move these outside of there, and then delete that folder because it's empty now. Alright, so remember those extras that I was talking about. The modules here, like these, had some other interesting options, as you can see. NMA, I don't know how you pronounce that, Ani, and then Furry, etc. I believe there's also Pony upon the torrent list. But if you want to, you can, if we go to our models, if this folder doesn't already exist, create it, most likely already will. Go to the hyper networks, and then you can just move those into there if you want to. So we're going to do that. And there they are. So now with all that out of the way, we are going to reload our WebUI. So we're going to put in the same command as we did before to get this reloaded. So we're just going to give it a second to load up. It's going to be loading a little bit of new modules, but here we go. Here's our URL again. And we're going to copy paste that and put to our side here. All right. So now look at that. Now is the first option. Pick that. All good. But our PT modules here, we already reloaded the WebUI, so now we can go to our settings tab and choose our PT under the Stable Diffusion Fine-Tune Hyper Network, which, there it is. Now that we have those, it's an option. You can choose those if you want. I'm not going to because I just don't exactly feel like it, because we're going to be moving on to our next step here, which is replicating our novel AI defaults here. So it is possible to create outputs identical to novel AI's current subscription service by doing the following. So we're going to send it to our Euler, not Euler A, so be mindful of that. We're going to set the sampling steps to 28. Here, I'll just type that in. And then we're going to set our CFG scale to 11. Let me zoom in a little bit here as well, so things could be easier to see. All right, so use these as our negative prompt. Oops, sorry, copy pasted it, or copied a little too much. There you go. Now we're gonna paste that in, and then go to our settings tab and change the ignore last layers. Hold on, ignore or clip model. There you go. Stop at last layers of clip model. I believe this is the one. It's gonna be 1 if you haven't changed this, but change it to 2. Then scroll up here, go to apply settings. For me, 0 settings have changed. Okay, cool. Next step. A little side note though. Here the Euler A defaults. If you want to replicate the novel AI Euler underscore A results, you might want to do the following of this stuff. But we should be ready. So let's do the testing accuracy here. So the easiest way to make sure our novel AI is functioning correctly is to try and get this as our image result or something very close to that. So we're going to copy this as our seed. And then our CFG should we're going to bump it up to 2. Resolution is 512 by 512. Our prompt is going to be masterpiece, best quality masterpiece. Asuka Langley sitting cross-legged on a chair. And then I believe the negative prompt is the same as before, but we'll still paste that in. No, it wasn't. Anyways, let's double check to make sure everything's correct here. We have the prompt. We have the negative prompt. Width and height are correct. The CFG is 12, and our seed is the same. And our sampler is Euler. They said nothing about changing the sampling steps as before, so we're going to keep it the way it is. And we're just going to click the orange button, generate. And would you look at that? That looks pretty close to this over here. So that's pretty much how you get the novel AI replica, which if you guys don't know what novel AI, I'm pretty sure I said it earlier. If I haven't, it's a subscription service thing that does what we just did, but you have to pay money for it. But we're big boys, we do things ourselves. So this is pretty much all you gotta do, man. Hope you guys have fun with this stuff. I know on 4chan you guys go kind of wild, especially on the H board. So yeah, have fun, guys. God bless.